Hi, this is Sign joining.
Hello, I'm Andres. Hello, Klaus.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, Sayan.
Hi, Tuna.
Hello. So where you from?
I'm based in Germany.
Okay, cool. Yep. The reason I asked for the question actually today I'd like to today I'd like to discuss with you about the new the meeting time that I heard from several people based in the US that they could not attend the meeting because the time for meeting is 2 a.m. On the time. So maybe we can adjust a bit, and then we can have more people from the US side can join the meeting. So I'm going to share my screen actually because I open I just have a quick check on the time zone and maybe you guys can decide a new one. I did pick up Seville. We have Andres in Seville, Andra as well. In Spain, some other guy from Germany. So so you have the European time zone, and Bangalore we have Murali and Samir. In India, I'm from Vietnam, and so I did pick up San Francisco time zone, and maybe we have some other guy from from LA, from Mexico, I think, Miguel. So, so we are here. This one. So it's about 3 a.m. in San Francisco. 2:30 from 2 3. So if we can shift a bit to, for example, this one, maybe it a bit late for Spain side, and also Bangalore actually with me in midnight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult to get a time
Exactly.
for APAC, but also Europe and the Americas. So I think the only thing that we can do there is basically to do every other week in a different time zone.
Yeah,
that's the only possible solution. It's impossible that we are going to get a time where everybody can make it and in a reasonable. I don't think it's either that is reasonable that you stay until midnight for this meeting.
right.
And if we ever want to get Gus in these meetings, it's also for him it's super. That would be super late. It would be the middle of the night.
Correct. So that is 3 hours different from Vietnam actually. Yeah. So right now it's 8 p.m. Okay. Well, so I think I agree with you that we can do the same with the meeting we have in iteration for APAC and for the US.
Hi, this is Rob from London.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah. Suggestion: if it was recorded, then the people that couldn't attend for whatever reason could listen to it and then respond at the next available.
Yeah, so actually the meeting is recording. So we upload every recorded video to YouTube on the Vietnamese channel, and you can seeking for the video later on in there. So yeah, I stop my screen. So for today, Murali told me that he stepped out for a visa paperwork, so he won't join this meeting.
So but before we move on to different topics, what have we decided about the meeting hours?
I think we can separate it for APAC and do it for the US on the other week.
Okay, I think just send a proposal to in the Slack channel and see what people think.
Yeah. I will send a proposal to the Slack channel, and then everybody can discuss on that.
Okay.
So so if we go through the pull request page, we have the first one from Heruke, fit guest function image from environment variable. Can you talk about it, Enrique?
Yeah, so I work with the Helm chart, and there I'd like to, if I change something, for example, in the Node.js runtime template, then I want to not all the time rebuild the complete controller, but provide a custom image in the Helm chart for this. And this is, I think, already supposed to be done via the environment variables on the controller deployment. But I think it didn't work because it didn't take into account the version number of the, let's say, for example, Node.js 6, Node.js 8. It didn't take into account the version there. And this is a fix. I think it's rather a small fix, just 2 lines of coding. And there was also a comment that it's better to also update the documentation, and I'll do this.
Yes, I think this is kind of a hidden feature because it's not documented anywhere. So yeah, a couple of lines of documentation could be great.
Right. And I see in the test, you only do test for Ruby runtime, right? So
yeah, I
so
think
that,
because the coding in general it's independent of the specific runtime.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree. So the next one is I restructured the command directory a bit following the suggestion from Rolly. I'd like to see a little bit better view from the command directory to separate the Go file. We go with the function. I use the main command. We have the function auto scale, route, version. So I group the file together with that kind of command. So if there is just changing the files are not that big. The next one is from Ian Duffy. I know this guy from ClassStack. I used to work with him in ClassStack. He had support for adding annotation on function. Murali check it, and he asked on Slack. Now internal Slack channel. So I think I have to test it a bit. Andres, do you have chance to look at it?
Not really. Not really. I saw that Murali was already handling this. I haven't checked it out. But yeah, seems something reasonable to be able to set up annotations.
Yep. Actually, this pull request would relate to my experiment on testing a Kubeless on AWS to actually somehow have the interaction with the API gateway. So I will test this pull request. The next one is I update the route display. Actually, is also the small one to make the Kubeless route list format to be consistent with the Kubeless function list and Kubeless autoscale list, because we used to use the old format of the table display, and then we changed it to the new one, but the route is still use the old format, so I updated. The next one is Murali as status to function object. Is not here. Let's take a quick look into the pull request.
Yeah, maybe I can give a little bit of background here, because I
Sure.
have been working with Murali on this. So basically, there are two things that we can improve here. Is the first one is setting the status of the deployment in the function object. So that way the client can retrieve the status of the the deployment of the function without needing to check the deployments and so on. And that's what is this pull request about. But it's highly related with the next one, that is auto generating the CRD object. Well, not the object, but the API code, and do that in the client and in the server side. That is something that is highly used in the Kubernetes environment, because that's the tool that they use to generate the different API endpoints. So all these tie together into having a more standard solution for representing the CRTs in our project. And yeah, it's something that this is what Murali is currently working on. And also this requires us to upgrade to Client Go 5.0. That is also something that Murali is working on. We were blocked because the monitoring module that we are using from CoreOS was not updated yet. But yeah, we found out that it's already updated, so we have green light here to go ahead.
But then I have a small question on that. So actually, this pull request will list out the status of function object, right? So it's mostly focused on the CRD object.
Mm-hmm.
It's not checking deployment, config map, and so on, right?
Yes, that's the thing that is pending here, because we don't have the quad chart there yet to in order to update the status of the function, and we need to implement that yet. But yeah, I think basically what is going to check is the deployment status.
Right.
It's not going to check the config map, neither the service or the other resource.
Yeah, I think checking the deployment status would be reasonable. Because at some point maybe the CRD in there, but the deployment is still deploying, so it doesn't really make sense to see to saying that the function is ready, right? Okay, so good. So the next one is work in progress is CRD code gen. I think Broly is still working on it. The next one is SAP for SQL trigger, still on it. The next one in Broly, Kubeless deploy command must validate if minimum required field are specified.
Let me merge that one, because it has been sitting there for a while and it's already done.
Okay, cool. Yes, nice. So it's to next one from supervisor guy, and I update all of them today. So I asked Andres to take a look on the service spec and the update runtime to use function port for custom port. I also updated. So two pull requests are now good to review.
Okay. Yeah, I need to have a look. I haven't had the time yet, but yeah, I will.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that is for the pull request base. I think we can go a bit on the issue. Do you guys have any? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, I just saw the Floss send some comments in the coupling proposal. Klaus, do you want to explain a little bit what you? Well,
okay, so I think one was about the request types or the invocation types. I was also studying the white paper from the serverless working group at CNCF, and in general, I saw that those request types were very specific. So I was proposing to separate the invocation type, like synchronous or asynchronous, from whatever is in front of that. I mean, it's like HTTP, or especially for HTTP, you have the example that you could have asynchronous or synchronous invocations. For example, for a webhook, you might want to have the asynchronous invocation, so that the function is doing something, but the call is already returning by, for example, returning something like a tracking ID or something. I think that's also what OpenWhisk, for example, is doing. So there you can decide if you want to invoke something synchronously or asynchronously. So just instead of PubSub and HTTP, I was proposing those. I think in the white paper there are 4 invocation types listed, and that was one comment I made, I think, and then there was, I have to look it up again, the other one. I think it was about the controllers, right? So yeah, I think I discussed it, or we discussed it before, that I was suggesting to have actual Kubernetes controllers for the triggers, so that you could have custom resources, basically, or CRDs, to define triggers. And then actually really controllers would listen for them and do whatever is needed to create a trigger. Like in one case, it would be an ingress, or in another case, it might be a message consumer for some message broker that would then do the actual call of functions. So that's the idea of the other comment I made.
Yeah, I completely agree with the trigger controller approach. I think it would be useful to have the trigger in a different CRD, and it should have its own controller. So yeah, that's I think something that we will do. About the invocation types, I don't know if we are going to support, at least right now, streaming, for example. So
yeah, I mean, of course, this was just a complete list from this white paper. I mean, we could leave out streaming for now.
Yeah, but also, for example, maybe I don't know if we are going to be able to support 2 different kinds of calls. For example, as you mentioned, HTTP. I don't know if we're going to be able to do HTTP calls synchronous and asynchronous. Maybe that is going to depend on the runtime, because for example, for Python and Node, it's pretty simple to support asynchronous calls, but maybe Ruby is not the case. I don't know. It's just something that it's true that there are. Maybe you can have a generalization here with the invocation type, but yeah, we may want to evaluate this on the go. Yeah. Thanks for.
Yeah, it was meant to keep this open to additional trigger implementations. If you just have, for example, PubSub as a trigger, and you have multiple brokers, or maybe just a Slack trigger or something. I'm not sure if this always suits to PubSub semantics. So I think
that's true.
what is actually meant is synchronous or asynchronous or something like this.
Okay, yeah, it's true that asynchronous is probably a better name for this.
All right. I think that what he proposed here is really valuable. Actually, we have the synchronous and asynchronous. We somehow discussed a bit about it before, but it's not really clear how you're going to support asynchronous. We know they should be, but about implementation, we're not really decided yet. Okay.
There's actually one more thing. So there's I'm sure you're actually aware of it. There's this upcoming specification. It's still in very early stage about open events. So that would probably also have some influence on this.
Right.
But this will develop over the next year. So.
Yep.
Who is leading that open events?
It's also in the CNCF working group where it's upcoming. So I think there's openevents.io they have as a domain right now.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes. So we turn it into the issue page. Is there any emergency issue that you may want to bring up? I think right now, I think Andres has bring up the flag keep up subnode test. I think that's yeah, it's quite painful.
Yeah, small comment in that if any of you see some weird errors in the test in Travis, just rebase master, because I have been working on fixing those flaky tests, and just let us know if there is something weird with the test and you don't know what's happening.
Right. Some small thing like Node.js runtime using most libc. I think they put requests only that. I think we can disclose this. Steps and put request for that. I think there's nothing else in the issue quiz. Any other story or any other topic you want to discuss today?
Well, I think it's time to do a new release. I think there are several commits that has been merged, so maybe we can schedule a minor release for these days. What do you think?
So yeah, the only issue, is whether if we find any regressions and people are taking days off, but I think tonight is going to be around, so it should be okay.
Yep.
Okay, it's just if you have any pull requests or anything that you want to include, because yeah, probably this is gonna be the last release of the year, so just a heads up.
I think we can just clear a bit the pull request base, so that's good enough. I'm not sure if Murali want to add the client go file into the release, but it's quite a big change in the code base, so I don't know. Otherwise, I'm good for the release. Okay. So after the call, I will take a look in the time schedule and propose the new meeting time for Kubeless call. Then we can decide on that on the Slack channel. Love this. See you guys.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
See you. Thank everyone for coming.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.